I've been asked to do this review by one of my subs. They're interested in the Oxford wide margin and the Cambridge wide margin as well. They're both King James, and I've also thrown in the local church wide margin cameo here as well, just to give you a bit of an idea as well with the size of the text block. This is just about the text block, not about the covers, you know. So yeah. So the Oxford, it measures at 9 by 7.5 by 2 inches. And your Cambridge measures as 9.5, so it's actually half an inch longer, by 7.5 by 1.25 inches thick. And why this is actually thinner is because this has 52 GSM paper in it. This one has 38 GSM paper, so there's a massive big difference in the thickness of the paper in these two Bibles. They're both acid-free paper, so yeah. And the local church one up here is actually 6.25 by 8.75 by 1.5 inches thick. Now we'll get into it, and we'll try and do the same pages, or reasonably the same pages. So yeah, okay. Now they say this one here's the text on this is a 9, and they're saying the text on this one is an 8.5, 8 to 9. I do find they're both quite easy to read. I do think that the Oxford is that little bit, just a fraction bit darker in the text, and the Cambridge is actually wider, as in when you're reading it, the letters are like, it's further apart, they're like spread out a bit further, so there's more gapping, more in it, which also makes it quite easy to read. I mean, they're both nice to read. I do know the newer ones are these. Sometimes the print isn't, it's missed like a bit of the O or something in the newer ones. This one, because it's an older one, like in the Allens they do. This one, like as in the older ones, don't have this problem. I guess the plates were not as, haven't been used as much. I'm not quite sure on that, but yeah, I haven't seen any miss letters, or in this one either. Now the colour, they're both black letters, and the printing is all even all the way through in this Oxford. I haven't found any different shading, and I have used this Oxford quite a bit. As you can see, there is quite a few notes in this. So yeah, apparently Oxford too has a lot more references in it than the Cambridge does. The Oxford references are a little bit harder to find, where your Cambridge ones is pretty much opposite your verses. So you got your 4 here. See, you can jot your 4 there. You got 4 here. The text inside is actually clean, where these ones here will actually have your zeros or your A's and your letters of the alphabet inside the actual verse itself, and to find your references over here. The subheadings, you do have subheadings up here, same with your Cambridge, but they'll be like 2 together, the 2 subheadings, one here, where the Oxford is actually split, so you've got subheadings for this side, subheadings for this side. But I mean, it's just split by an and, or a full stop. So that's neither here or there. It does, but when you're looking for a specific verse, if it's actually on the edge of your page, the book, so it makes it a bit easier to find which book you're looking for. Well, with the Oxford, you actually have to actually grab a big hunk and look through the middle. If that's any, they're both, this one is, the Cambridge is self-pronouncing, where the Oxford one isn't self-pronouncing. You do have little headings in your Oxford above each chapter, like that, and it will actually tell you, which verse to go to for the headings. They are quite clear as well in this Oxford. I'm not sure what they're like in the new Allen ones. So they are quite clear. Now you get to the back of it, you have your note paper, just your blanks paper. This one here also has it as well, but this one's lettered with the alphabet, where the Oxford one isn't. It's not lettered with the alphabet, it's just got written notes up there. So yeah. And then we go into the line paper, straight from the blank page to the line paper. Here we have the maps first, and then we have the line paper. We don't have see down here we have the broken, so you can write notes on this side and on this side. This side doesn't have that, so it's all straight across. But I mean, I like the broken, so what I've done is I've just put penciled lines there, and when I've done the page I rub it out and put a red line through. So yeah, it's pretty much the same amount of paper. This paper line is actually thinner. This is actually thicker. Your spacing here is actually thicker. And if you can see that. Your Oxford, even though it's got a leather, it is actually just the hard leather cover. It actually is art gilt as well, where this one has your cast split leather, and it doesn't have art gilt. It just has the gold. They are both paste down, so they make no difference. They're both paste downs. Even though this one is 2 inches thick, I've had no problems with any of it. It all lies flat. Well, it doesn't lie completely flat at the beginning because it's such a thick book. This one I don't think will lie flat at the beginning either, because it's actually new. Oh yeah, we can get it lie flat. So yeah. But yeah, I do think the text in the Cambridge is a little easier to read. It appears bigger. To me it looks the same. It's the same size as your Oxford, but to the eye it actually looks a little bigger when you're reading it. I also have this local church one here. Now, they say this is an 8.5 or an 8. They say it's an 8, and because it's very bold, it's also easy to read. But this one here is a lot like the Oxford, as it's a bit squishier, the writing. As you can see, it's a bit squishier than the writing. Plus, you also, it's not a clean text. You also have them inside. But with this Cambridge, the same thing again. If you've got like here, you've got a Y, and it's actually just here. It's a lot easier to find. So it's over here. It's a lot easier to find with the references, where I find the Oxford's not as clear as that, with their references and finding them opposite each verse. They're close, but not as close as what the Cambridge ones are. I know. Oh, well, in some places they are quite close. So you've got the 4 there, and there's a 4 there. But the Oxford definitely has more notes. We'll go to Leviticus. We'll have a look in Leviticus 26, and we'll check out the... wrong way. I do know the orders of the books in the Bible. We want 26. Okay, so we've got 26 here. And they start with H, so we're up here. And we'll just go to 5. So you've got those as your cross references. You can just pause that and have a good look at the cross references and check. And I'll do the same for this one down here for you. Let me check the cross references. But each one of these, all three of these Bibles are great Bibles for wide margins. Like this, the church one is my main Bible at the moment. I've been using that as my main Bible, and I've just got little notes here and there in it. The paper is a lot thinner, and you just got to be careful you don't, press down too hard. I do use 005s, so you just got to be a bit careful because you can see through a lot. But then, it was a 40. It was like I think they retailed for around $40 or $45. Well worth getting it. I mean, look, check this out, guys. That thing was lying flat as a tack. Didn't when I first got it, but it does now. Okay, so like $45, and you're looking at this one here. I know retails for between $209 and $250 here in Australia. This one here, yeah, these don't, you can't get these anymore. But if you were to buy this as in an Allen, because the new Allens use the same text block, you would be in Australia. You would be paying just over $300 for this one. Okay, you do get a nicer cover and everything else, but you're definitely not getting 52 GSM paper with this one. When you get that one, if you get it from Allen's, I think Allen's is a 48 or a 46 GSM, something like, or I think it might even be a 42. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is 52, and it's all acid free. They are acid free. I can show you at the front where it says acid free. All acid free, so she's not going to go yellow or deteriorate. So it's something that you can hand down. And same with the Cambridge. You'll find the same thing with the Cambridge. I don't know if I'll say acid free, but it is acid free paper. But I'll have a look and see if it does. It doesn't actually say, but it is acid free paper. So your papers won't go yellow. So yeah. So I hope that answers your question, what you were after with these two Bibles. Like I said, I mean, they're both big Bibles. And that's a hand-sized one, so... I mean, I do like my wide margin Bibles. I love writing notes in my Bibles. Most people that know me know that, yeah, that's my Bible's a wide margin, so... Highly recommend all three of these Bibles. I do. So I hope that helps, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.